to the channel and welcome to an impromptu video on this, the 1.2 TSI Monte-Carlo that I rebuilt quite some time ago now. So came out to it today and it wouldn't start, and I had to look down this way and fuel was absolutely racing out of this location here on the side of the fuel rail, which is obviously not ideal. So I mean, it still stinks of petrol now, which is not great. Yes, there's a nice puddle under the car. The under tray's absolutely covered in petrol. We lost about a tenner's worth of petrol, to be honest. Yeah, and I do suspect that this fuel rail has moved. I hope it's not bent, but I do think that it's pushed an injector out, and that's where we're getting the fuel leak. So we're expecting ruined injector seals and a snapped fuel rail bolt. There we go. Yeah, it's not great. But yeah, that's card we've been dealt. Now, what I'm gonna do is try my damnedest not to have to split this coolant system. All I want to do is move this inlet manifold away, move it away from this work area as best that I can. Just get it out of the way enough. I want to take this fuel rail completely out, so I'll be disconnecting this high pressure fuel line there, 4 injector bolts and obviously the injectors themselves. And then we do now have, thanks to TPS, 4 injector repair kits for the seals, because we want to replace all 4, and 4 new superseded part number injector bolts. Because obviously these ones were the factory ones and they've snapped. So yeah, we've got 5 Torx T30s up here. I do believe we're going to have to undo things like this hose here, because that's a hard line, but that's connected to the actual manifold itself. But the rest of it should be mobile enough that we can just, move it out of the way rather than strip this entire manifold and coolant system, because that I really don't want to do. Things like, unplugging lap sensors or whatever, or you can just unclip them. But yeah, I'm not going to do that on camera, but I'm going to take this pipe out, give me access, unplug things, get this high pressure fuel line off, undo these 5, but I'm going to clean all this first because you don't want any of that dropping down into your engine whilst there's no intake manifold on it. So we're going to get to that and then see where we are from there. Right, I've now got this stripped as far as I want to strip it. So things, disconnected from bits and bobs. I'm going to have to disconnect that one. I've forgotten that one, but brake vacuum, fuel lines. The only thing I don't want to touch is coolant. Around here, just plugs, everything that I can get to apart from the injectors themselves, because they're going to sit under this, and obviously I want to get this, at least, even if we can just twist it out of the way, that'd be a lot better. So yeah, we're going to do that one because that one's actually connected to this. Yeah, crack on. Yeah, because otherwise there's coolant hose underneath on the bottom. It's either 1 or 2, and then we've got all this mess. But if it has to come off, it has to come off. If this has to come out the way, it does. If I can do it without, brilliant. But we have correctly diagnosed. Yeah, you can see that injector's almost out. That injector's pretty much in. But yeah, that bolt's out. So I'm hoping that has just come loose and not sheared off inside. Because if it's sheared off inside, we are in for a whole world of hurt. Obviously there's a load of crud there. I'm just going to quickly grab the hoover and grab before it goes too far down my intake. Yeah, so have this off, but I am kind of thinking, well, some of these lines are getting a bit tight, but I haven't yet unclipped them from everywhere I can unclip them from. So I'm going to quickly hoover stuff out before I think it's going to drop down the intake, and then I'm going to start unclipping things and moving hoses, see if I can't get that intake manifold far enough out. I hope I can. So I could never recommend anyone in good faith to do this way themselves, but I'm just trying to show that it can be done. So that is intake manifold now away, and we have exposed this. Looks like I might have to manipulate this foot back down, seeing it seems to have bent away. Could be because the injector's pushing on it. Who knows? We seem to have got away with it on this one. It does look like it's stretched, but I don't think that shade looks about the right size. So I really do think we've fallen quite lucky on this one. So what I'm going to do, there's one there, and there's one on the underside of both. Obviously the injector plugs, we'll unplug those and we'll whip that fuel rail out, see what on earth we're dealing with on that side. So when unplugging the injectors, what they've got is, see that little like greyish white tab there, lives on the underside of the connector. Turn that one round. See it there on the underside. Just use the other end. There we go. So you want to pull that out. So this will be flush up against this. Pull it out, you push it down, and then that will release that injector plug from there. So it really does look like we've come away very lucky here without actually springing, like, because they've got circlips in there if you have a look, holding the injectors in. So it looks like we've come away very lucky. Now this is probably the root cause of that gigantic leak. So I've dropped one down there, we can kind of forget about that, I don't really care. One has come off with that, so that's all good. So this is the fuel rail that's come out. If we put that on a flat surface, that foot looks to have changed, so we'll need to manipulate that back down, which is going to be fun. But yeah, it does appear that this largely stays in place. Oh no. Okay. So we've got more breakage there, so we're gonna have to have a look at that. I do have the repair kit, but I'm not quite sure how it goes on, so I guess we're gonna learn. But that is one very perished injector seal there, so we're not happy about that, but we're also not happy about the thing behind it, and I'm not sure if I'm going to have the equipmentage with me, because as of filming today, it was supposed to be back on the Insignia. We've just filmed part 1. Today was supposed to be part 2, putting the engine back in and all happy glory, and wasn't meant to be. So yeah, I'm going to fish this broken part of seal out of there, and then see what we do about that, because obviously that ain't no good. So here we have our little part goodie. So that is the part number, and we have 4 of these, and some of my business cards. We've got 4 of these. These are the little kits that come with, well, injector repair kits. So you can see in here we've got that spacer, which looks like it slip fit, which is brilliant news. A new seal, which will grab some engine oil and lube that up. And then I believe that this little sleeve there is actually to go on the end of the injector. Now, I'm not going to do that one. I think my issue there, with that bolt being loose and not snapped, was a backing out of these bolts, which part number there for you if you want it. But yeah, I think it's because one of these bolts backed out. It's torn the injector seal there. So I think that's what has occurred. I'm glad it's backed out, not snapped. It does make life a bit easier, but yeah, I definitely think the perishment of that O-ring seal has rooted that. So looks like we're not going to need any special tool edge. I just need to figure out whether it goes that way up or that way up. So here we have all 4 new injector seals on. As you see, replace that little plastic washery bit. That was the tail of destruction of it. The ridge side goes to the bottom, the flat side is the O-ring side. Like I say, they do split, so easy to go in. So now what we're going to do is re-offer up this fuel rail. So we have our fuel rail back in with the fresh seals on, and as we can see there, our fuel rail is sat nice and evenly into that block, which is what we want. I've got these bolts back in. The torque spec for those is 9 Newton meters and without Loctite. Do whatever you want, but that's what factory said, so that's what factory gets, and then that's why factory has this problem. Yeah, but you know, you make your own decision with that, I'm afraid. So now it's just a case of whatever you took off, put it back on, and we'll see if this thing will fire. Now this is normally the part of the video where I say, oh, we're gonna have to go and test it. I've tested it. We're all good. Obviously we're putting everything back up. What we've done is we've checked for leaks there at that 17mm, and we've checked for leaks there at that 17mm for the high pressure fuel pump. Neither seem to be leaking, can't see any wetness down there, so we're calling that good. Checking down here at the front, down on top of the alternator, that is where we were getting wetness before. Looking across there, it looks bone dry. So we're quite happy. There isn't a smell of absolutely honking petrol no more. So dropped the under tray as well, just so when we did fire it up, we could see straight away if there are any big leaks. So yeah, obviously we didn't have to touch any coolant lines, we just unclipped them. The only line we took off was this fuel line, and that's just with that little clip there, and the PCV one for the airbox. So yeah, this is all back together. So now I'm going to put the engine cover and the ducting back in for the intake, get those clips on, and then take it for a test drive. Make sure we can get some heat into it, make sure it's running well, it's running correct, and then once we're satisfied with that, we'll check again for leaks, and if we're happy with that, I think we call that job done. There we have it, guys. So we're running now. Obviously this is under our fuel rail, so this is where all of that fuel was last time. So that's pressure sensor. Ooh, there we go. So that's under cylinder 1, again cylinder 2, but the gist of it is there. And then looking at this one here, so again no leak. I have to shove the camera right down in there. Have a look at that. Again there you can see that nut there appears to be dry. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to let this idle for a little bit.